let's talk about how wallets work. And I'm going to demonstrate how they work in order to explain it. So you can just watch this video, but if you want to follow along, you can grab the dependencies for this part of the video right here. The first dependency is the MetaMask wallet, MetaMask Ethereum wallet. You can go to metamask.io, or you can go to the Chrome web store and download MetaMask and install it to Google Chrome. And also the other dependency is the Ganache personal blockchain, which you can just go to the Truffle website, truffleframework.com/Ganache to download it. But like I said, you don't have to necessarily download these to watch this video. You can just watch without following along with the steps. I think you'll get a pretty good idea of the concepts just from watching. And we'll also, configure these dependencies in the next section when we build the capstone project, but I wanted to kind of give you a heads up about them now. So what is a wallet? And I want to clear this up because people use this term interchangeably for different things. And sometimes it can be confusing. So let me dispel some of the confusion. So a wallet can be one of two things. A wallet can be, an account on Ethereum. So if I go to like Etherscan and I look at, one of these transactions, I see a from account here. This is, an account on Etherscan. This is a representation of the public key. Sometimes people call this a wallet. Sometimes people say this is your wallet address and this is your wallet. I don't really like that term because it's confusing. This really is an account. Okay, so wallets typically, I like to think of a wallet as something where you hold accounts or you see information about accounts. And that's what MetaMask is. So if I open MetaMask right here, I can see my accounts that are in my wallet, and I can see information about them, like the amount of Ether that I hold. So here's an example. This is my wallet that I use for development on Ethereum. So you can see that I actually have an account address inside of my wallet, and I have almost 3 ETH inside of here. And this wallet allows me to kind of manage different accounts, right? I've got 3 accounts in here, and one of them is what I use for development, and I can see information about it, right? I can store multiple accounts. So that's what MetaMask is. MetaMask is really a wallet interface that allows you to, manage multiple accounts. So let's talk about, accounts themselves, right? So you see, these accounts, which I mentioned on Etherscan, right? We can see an account here that has a bunch of transactions. Looks like this big hex string, all right? So let's talk about those. So I've got Ganache pulled up here, and we can see a bunch of addresses listed, right? These are accounts, really. These are the account addresses, okay? And account addresses are made up of public keys and private keys. And we can see the private key for this account here by showing the private key like this, right? So the public key is kind of like, the address is kind of like a username on the blockchain, and the private key is like a password, right? I think we talked about that in the previous sections. So this is sensitive information that you don't want to share. And this is, information that you can share and you can give to people so they can send you cryptocurrency, so you can use dApps and stuff like that, right? So your public key or your address can be derived from your private key. Like you can use this private key to add your account to a wallet, which I'll show you in a minute. And let me also clarify the difference between a public key and an address. So we can actually look here on Stack Overflow or Stack Exchange, excuse me, which I'm going to ask this question, how are Ethereum addresses generated? What's the difference between a address like you see here and the actual public key? Because they're not the same thing. So they have a really good answer because they cite the Ethereum yellow paper, right? We can see that here. The Ethereum yellow paper basically just specifies the technical aspects of how Ethereum works. And they say, from the yellow paper, there are 3 main steps to get the private key, right, to the address. You basically create a random private key, which we saw here, right? You can see this randomly generated private key. And then we derive the public key from this, right? So we don't see the public key yet. It's hidden from us in Ganache. And then the address is the first 40 characters or first 20 bytes of the public key. So basically, this part right here is the first 40 characters or first 20 bytes of the public key. So the public key is actually longer than this. This is just an abbreviation of the public key, and they add 0x at the beginning of it to, specify that we're using hexadecimal. Okay, so that's how you get from a private key to a public key to an address. You start with this randomly generated private key. We generate a public key. Take the first part of the public key to get this, and then you add 0x at the beginning. Okay, that's how it works. And you can read more about that in the Ethereum yellow paper. You can see lots of good information here. I highly recommend just browsing through this at some point to, get familiar. It's always good. So let's talk a little more about how MetaMask works. So like I said, MetaMask is a wallet, and specifically MetaMask is an HD wallet, which stands for Hierarchical Deterministic Wallet, HD wallet. So you can see some information about a deterministic wallet here on this Bitcoin wiki. And I'm going to explain kind of how an HD wallet works. So basically, an HD wallet is a wallet that allows you to manage multiple accounts in the same wallet. It's gonna allow you to do this deterministically, which basically means you can generate a wallet with a seed phrase. Okay. So if you look at this diagram right here, you can have a seed phrase that will convert predictably or deterministically into multiple accounts. Okay, and these accounts are going to have public key and private key pairs. All right. So I'll walk you through how that works. Like if I go to MetaMask, what I can actually do is I can get on here and I can import an account using the seed phrase, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to go to Ganache, and I'm going to see this mnemonic right here. This is the seed phrase, a mnemonic seed phrase. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put it into MetaMask, and we're going to see that this account right here was generated. Okay, it's not going to give us all the accounts. It's just going to give us the first one. So I'll paste in the wallet seed phrase. I'll put in a password. And now we can see that this MetaMask account was generated from that seed phrase. Okay. Now I should also mention, that the seed phrase is very sensitive information. So it's okay that I'm showing you the one from Ganache, because this is literally just the one that was created by Ganache. I don't really care about showing you this. It's okay. But if you have a seed phrase for your MetaMask account, you want to treat it like your private key and that you don't share it with anybody. Okay. So let's talk about how we can actually rebuild more accounts with our private key, right? So we can go to MetaMask and we can say, import an account. And I can select the type. We can do a JSON key store file, which is, I'd rather just do the private key. So let's go to Ganache and find the private key. Actually, I have a different account. Let's take the second one and we'll copy it. And we'll go to Ganache, to MetaMask, paste it in and import. All right, now we got two accounts that are connected to the network. And I can switch to localhost to the Ganache blockchain. And we can see the balances have changed, and it will read how much Ether we have inside of Ganache. Okay. So you can do this with regular accounts. And yeah, just as a summary, MetaMask is a wallet. It's an HD wallet. It's a hierarchical deterministic wallet that works like this. An account is something that identifies you on the Ethereum network, kind of like, by an address. It's kind of like your username. It's a derivation or a subset of your public key, which also identifies you. It's the first 40 characters or the first 20 bytes with this 0x appended to it. And, your public key is generated from your private key, which we can see here, right? And that's how it works when we import it into MetaMask. We take our private key and put it into MetaMask, and it's able to generate our public key from there, right? So now what can we do with MetaMask once we're inside of it? Well, we can do a lot of things. We can send and receive Ether. We can basically go to the first account and click send. And we can take the recipient address, which we'll just go back to Ganache and copy this and create an account, paste in an account. We could use a QR code if we had one. And we could say, I want to send, 1 Ether. Okay. And here we can actually choose the gas price. And this is, based in Gwei. We can do advanced options. We could specify the gas limit here. So you'll see MetaMask has some basically suggestions on the speed. So basically, the higher the gas price, the faster the transaction will be mined, and the lower the gas price is slower. So we could specify this even more here. So the gas limit, also I should mention, is perfect because it always costs only this much gas to send a transaction. So basically, if I just want to send Ether from one account to another, it always costs 21,000 units of gas just to create a simple transaction on the blockchain. And basically, that's the gas limit. It will never exceed that just for sending Ether. And the gas price is expressed in Gwei, which is just a denomination of Ether. So let's choose the fast setting, and we'll click next, and we'll confirm it. All right, I got an error, and sometimes this happens when you're dealing with Ganache. So I'm just going to my account, my first account in the list, and I'm going to edit it. I'm going to reset it. So I'm actually going to leave this error in the video because this is something that happens when you're working with Ganache. Basically, what happened was your account has a nonce, which is your transaction count, and sometimes it gets cached inside of MetaMask. So if you restart Ganache, then you have to reset your account. So basically we'll go to settings, we'll go to advanced, and we will reset account. Okay, yes, we do want to reset our account. So I should have been tipped off when I saw a bunch of transactions here because those don't really exist on Ganache. So let's try this again. Let's send new Ether. Like I said, I'm gonna leave the mistake in the video just because it's helpful to know that you can encounter this problem. So I'll do the gas price of 20 Gwei, 21,000 units of gas for the transaction. And I need to specify the address, so I'll copy this. All right, click next, confirm, and there we go, it's sent. So if you go to Ganache, we can see that the balance is transferred from the first account to the second one. All right, we can also, receive Ether with Ganache, with MetaMask by, clicking deposit. And, you can have a bunch of different options this way. You can just, view your account, and you can copy the address like this. You can see the QR code if someone wants to do that. So that's a simple way to do that as well. So what else can you do with MetaMask? Well, you can interact with dApps. So here is a dApp that I built in one of my tutorials on my YouTube channel where I basically built an ICO token sale. So this talks to smart contracts, and I'm going to show you how you can use MetaMask to, talk to smart contracts, and, sign transactions and use dApps. So this is a JavaScript web page that talks to a smart contract that whenever you, purchase tokens with the smart contract with JavaScript, you have to sign the transaction and actually, do that in order to interact with it. So I'm on the Rinkeby test network, and I'm just going to show you how to, use a dApp with MetaMask connected. So you don't have to open MetaMask or anything. You can just kind of leave it in the background running. I'm on the Rinkeby test network with some Ether in my account. I'm just going to say I want to buy, 1,000 tokens in this sale, or let's just say 100. And I click buy tokens. And you'll see a pop-up like this come up, which actually came on my other screen, but you should see it on your monitor if you only have one screen. And you click confirm, and you'll probably see a loading page. And that allowed you to make the purchase in tokens. So I'm going to refresh and wait for the transaction to confirm, and we'll see that our balance will change. All right, so it worked. We can see that I purchased some tokens, and I now have a balance here. So yeah, you can use MetaMask to interact with dApps and smart contracts. You can sign transactions. And if you open up, your MetaMask wallet, you can see a list of the transactions here. This is a contract interaction. We can click on this, actually open it in Etherscan to see details about the transaction. Okay. We can see the account that it came from. This is the one in my wallet. We can see the smart contract that it went to, and we can see that tokens were transferred. These were ERC20 tokens, dApp tokens. Yeah, we can see the amount of Ether that was transferred. So yeah, MetaMask is a really great full-featured wallet, full-featured Ethereum wallet that you can use to hold Ether, send Ether to other people, interact with dApps, interact with smart contracts, all that kind of stuff. All right, and that's all I got. So that's an overview of how accounts work and how wallets work and how MetaMask works. And this is going to be a really useful tool for us when we're building out our capstone project, and a really invaluable tool for you to know and understand as a blockchain developer.